What's up, guys? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Zatima. This is season 2, episode 5, and let's jump right into it. So, as you guys already know, we're starting off exactly where we left off, and that is with Fatima's mother showing up to Zach's house, him holding Deja, and next thing you know, he drops Deja on the ground because he was surprised and shocked that Fatima's mother was at his house. So, here's my thing about Deja. I'm annoyed with her. I don't really care for her character. It's annoying at this point, the way she acts, especially considering you're doing all this hooping and hollering and yelling about how your back is hurting, your neck is hurting, how this B did this to me, this B did that to me, referring to Fatima, and you're doing all this in front of her mother. Like, you're doing all this in front of this woman who is probably the age of your own mother. Grow up, please. I found that scene to be so extra. And then for the woman to be sitting there waiting for Zach to, say something and be like, oh, hey, it's so nice meeting you. Didn't know you were coming by. Like, really being endearing to the mom. He decided to go ahead, pick Deja up and bring Deja into her house. I said, Zach, could you please align your priorities? Deja could have sat there on the floor for a little bit longer. She would have been fine. But like I said, he goes into Deja's house to drop her off. The mom is just standing outside. And then next thing you know, Fatima shows up. So when Fatima gets there, she's like, oh, hey, Mom, didn't know you were going to be stopping by. Did you meet Zach? All these questions. And the mom is like, girl, Zach is over there with your neighbor. He up in her house. I was waiting on him to invite me in, but clearly he didn't. So her mom further goes on to talk about how, Fatima, are you living here? Like, what's going on? And Fatima's like, well, I still have my place and all this stuff. And I'm just like, Fatima, you are a grown woman. Your next big number is probably going to be 40 on this show. Because I think all of them should be like mid-30s. Why are you so afraid to tell your mother that you're living with this man? Especially considering I'm pretty sure this is not the first man that you have lived with. I'm pretty sure you were living with Ian as well. So they finally decide to go into the house because Zach eventually came out of Deja's house. And when they get in there, the mom is like, oh, well, this house sure does look like it's his taste. And Fatima's like, yeah, because it's his house. But, I just stay here sometimes. I'm like, girl, you live there. Why are you playing in front of your mama face? And then I also need Tyler to get his storylines together because Fatima's like, yeah, I still have my place. She's saying that as if she owns this place or if she actually lives there. Last time I checked, Zach told her to sell her place, because remember that was the original storyline, for her to move in with him, for her to sell her place, that was his words and not mine, so that way she can move in, as in she owns the place. Now, since we have this storyline with this mom, now she has a whole landlord, and I guess she's subletting her place. I don't know. I'm confused. It doesn't make sense, especially considering the mom said that she dropped off some type of care package and it kept getting sent back to her. Like, I need for that storyline to just go ahead and go away from me because it doesn't make sense. Nonetheless, the mom goes on to talk about how this care package has things in it that are for a single woman, not for somebody who has a man. And I'm like, girl, what you do? Get your daughter some vibrators? Because if you did, then that's weird. So at one point, Fatima's mom ended up asking Zach about himself. It's like, who are you, whatever. And he's like, all right, well, I'm Zach. And do you want to sit down? I said, sir, that was your next line? You have nothing else to say about yourself, Zach? Like, he could have at least told her, like, I met your daughter. We've been in a great relationship. Or, I'm Zach. I'm into real estate. Something. Not just his name and her inviting them to dinner. So I guess at some point we're going to have a scene of Fatima, her mom, her stepdad, and Zach having dinner together. We shall see when that happens. Okay, so let's talk about this conversation that Fatima's mom and her had outside. First things first, I don't care for how negative the mom was. First of all, she was very cold this entire time. But on top of that, she goes outside and tells her daughter that, I can already tell just looking at him that he's been in jail and he's just like how your real father is, in and out of jail all the time. You guys have so much tension in this house. Blase blah. I mean, this woman was very nasty and unnecessarily mean. Like, I did not understand how she developed all of that out of one encounter with Zach, and he hardly said a word. Like, yes, Zach has been to jail before, but for her to assume that, he's basically just like Fatima's real father, I was quite annoyed. And one thing I do not appreciate is this storyline of, oh, well, Fatima, she went and found a guy just like her dad. No, I'm sorry. I don't feel like we need to perpetuate that situation because I hate that idea of, oh, well, if your dad wasn't around, then, you'll find a guy that was just like him and blah, blah, blah. No, she actually found a man who she was interested in and they developed a relationship. This had nothing to do with daddy issues, mommy issues, or whatever issues people want to pin on people dating. All right, but let's go ahead and move on from that. Now, we already know that Fatima and Zach are not seeing eye to eye, especially after that situation that happened with Paul and him assuming that Fatima basically cheated on him. Zach is a complete idiot for thinking that, but we can see within this scene of them in that bathroom that clearly they were quite upset with each other and they didn't even want to talk about what happened. There was no resolve in this moment. So Fatima was like, okay, I can do you one better. So instead of her just, taking a bath, going to bed, nope, she decided to pull a Beyonce, put a freakum dress on, and head on out the door. Yes, baby girl got dressed, and she didn't even say anything to Zach. I'm actually surprised that Zach didn't say anything to her and try to stop her from going out the door. But he just sat there in the bed or whatever, and she decided she was going to go out with Angela. So she goes to the car or whatever, calls Angela, and they try to figure out where they're going to go. Of course, they're going to go to Club Eden. And one thing that I want to point out about this conversation, I hated the fact that Angela was like, oh, does Zach have a brother? And then for her to go and say, oh, well, Bryce's thing wasn't big or whatever. I'm just like, girl, why are we having this conversation? At the end of the day, his thing didn't have to be big because you were satisfied at some point, right? Chill out with that. And could you please have a conversation with that man? But let's just go ahead and slide on over to Zach because he decides to call Tony. And again, here we go with these unnecessary friends because with friends like this, I don't know how you can have enemies. Zach gets on the phone with Tony or whatever. First off, I feel like Tony, how can I describe it? Maybe it's the actor, or maybe it's the words that he's saying. But there's a disconnect when it comes to Tony and the way that he speaks. Because when he said he had a shorty coming over, I said, sir, who's really coming over here for you? I just didn't see it. Then when Zach is like, oh, it's just me and Fatima right now, because he's stressed out about Fatima. And he's like, you still with her? I said, why wouldn't he be with Fatima considering he's engaged to her? What are you talking about? So Zach is like, he just wants to get up out of there. He wants to go hang out or whatever. And next thing you know, there's this music blasting. And of course, it's Deja. So Zach ends up getting off the phone with him just so he can tell Deja to turn the music down. I mean, he calls her and she's like, well, you're going to have to come over here, come do it yourself, Zach, because I can't reach it. I can't do this. Girl, you turned it on so you can turn it off. So of course Zach goes over there so he can turn the music off, and according to him, it was really hot in there. She done messed with the AC. I would have let baby girl burn up. If she wanted to be hot, she was gonna be hot up in there. And as far as Deja flirting with him, trying to take her robe off, I'm like, girl, you are so desperate for this man. This is so out of control. Like, I have never seen anyone be as thirsty as she is for a grown man. Like, you know how like the teenage shows have like the girls be really stupid for their crush or whatever? Deja does this at the big grown age that we are, and she takes it 15 times over. Like, for real, for real. So Zach actually ends up leaving, and next thing you know, he's so lonely. He doesn't have Fatima there, so what does he have to reach for? The side chick. Now let's actually jump on over to Fatima because she is at Club Eden with her girl Angela. Angela's having a great old time. She's like, ooh, this is a great dancer. The drinks are good. Like, she's having a blast. But Fatima isn't. So she's like, what's going on with you? Like, are you not having fun? And Fatima is still stressed out about Zach because they didn't end on good terms. You know, she just walked out of the house. He didn't say nothing. He didn't try to stop her, like something he would normally do. And on top of that, you had the Paul situation happen. We've had other incidents and things occur when it comes to Fatima and Zach. And I feel like this is all just piling up on her. And like she told Angela, she used to be happy. She's no longer happy when it comes to the situation with Zach, well, the relationship with Zach, because there's multiple situations that she's been hit with on a daily basis. And like I've been saying in my reviews, I would love for them to break up. Not for forever. I would definitely want them to circle back and get back together. But I think that there's some growing that needs to happen with both characters outside of them being in a relationship and trying to make it work. Because right now, I don't know how anyone would actually be in a relationship with this much drama. But moving on from that, because now these ladies, they want to have a good time. A guy ends up walking up, I believe his name was Sean, and he's like low-key flirting with Angela. She's all into it. You know, she goes to get some drinks with him. And baby, when we come back, Angela is toe up. She is drunk. She's wobbling and bobbling out of the club, about to bust her face open. And Fatima is like, girl, we can't even drive home. You can't drive. I can't drive. Let's try to get like a ride share or something. And who decides to pop up? Sean. So he's like, oh, I can give you a ride. I can give y'all a ride. Baby, all Angela did was take one look at his car. She's like, ooh, let's go ride in his car. So what does Fatima do? She goes with her friend and they decide to take a ride from a strange man that they don't know by the name of Sean, and that's going to be their ride home. Hopefully they make it home safe, right? Now let's hop on over to Zach, because Zach didn't even leave the house so that he could meet up with Tony. The reason why we actually saw Zach leave is because he got a phone call from old girl next door, Deja. She's over here talking about some, oh my gosh, my water is on and I can't turn it off. I was going to get in the tub. Come turn it off, please, 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 whatever. So he decides to rush over there, turn her water off. I'm just like, this is so unnecessary because Deja, I'm sick and tired of you playing these games. You are clearly playing games. Talking about your neck and back hurt so bad that how did you hobble your way all the way into that bathtub? And how are you going to hobble your way back out? Please make that make sense. So here's the thing. How do we end this episode? That is with this girl revealing to Zach, or should I say sending Zach a text message. I'm assuming of a photo of Fatima in a club because, you know, she knows everybody. Deja knows everybody. So she got this photo or whatever, and she's like, you know, your girl, she out here doing her thing, so you should go ahead and do me. Not do your thing, do me. And Zach ends up leaning over the tub or whatever, and that's how the episode ended. So we don't know if he actually like took her up on her offer or what, but I am just so annoyed. Like, I feel like nothing really happened in this episode. Besides the fact that we got to see Fatima's mom and how she feels about Zach and how she feels about Fatima in this situation, because she basically feels like she raised her daughter better than to date somebody like Zach. Yeah, what did we get out of this episode, y'all? I feel like nothing. But I'm going to keep rocking with Zatima because maybe the next episode will be better. So go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Did y'all like it? Maybe y'all liked it. I don't know. Only thing I will say is that the two-piece outfit that Angela had on, that was cute. Forgot to mention that. But that's besides the point. Let me go ahead and head on out. Again, y'all like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to y'all in the next review. Bye, guys.